with Intention podcast where we bring you stories from around the globe. Hello, and welcome to another podcast episode on Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. And today, once again, I have beautiful Latara here with us today. Welcome, Latara. So nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me back again.
Yay!
So happy to be
Today
here.
we're so excited because on December 3rd, you are launching once again another amazing book, and it's called Quantum Manifestation,
Yeah.
Harnessing the Law of Attraction to Realize Your Dream Life. I love that. And the cover is, there you have it. Oh my God, you
Yep.
have it.
Just a little
The cover
sneak
is
peek. I have
beautiful.
my early author's edition. I just wanted to show that off because it's such a beautiful cover.
It is beautiful. Like, I don't know. It's right away. It's like you're looking at it and it just takes you away into that amazing imagination. I love it. So I'm so excited for you,
Thank
and
you.
I can't wait to also order a copy of that amazing book. And so let's dive into another amazing podcast with you. So I read your chapter. I love it, but we're
Yeah.
gonna talk a little bit about it. So in your chapter, you discussed the importance of combining spiritual richness with financial wealth.
Hmm.
How did this concept evolve for you, and what sparked your realization that both are necessary for fulfilling life? I know it's a long one, but I'm so
Yeah.
excited
Okay.
about your chapter.
All right. Let's see if I can jump into this. So so the first part of that is that a lot of people out there seem to be able to create financial wealth, but then they're still unfulfilled, unhappy. There's, it's not solving their problems. They're still, they might even be living in a place of scarcity, even with all of that wealth. So you can have somebody that has millions of dollars in the bank and they still feel like they're poor, or they feel like people are out to take their money from them, so they can't relax. So I feel like success and wealth and prosperity and abundance, these are all mental as well as material. So that's why I was saying that you really need to be focusing on that inner richness. And the other aspect of it is that I feel like you're working on your life from the inside out, and that once you have that abundance in within you, that you're coming from that place, that you're living in that vibration, then that can start expressing itself in your outer world, but it starts from the inside.
Wow. I love that. That's beautiful and so true. You also mentioned the role of incantation in shaping reality. Can you explain how you use incantation daily and how listeners can incorporate that into their life as well?
Yes. So a lot of my chapter talks about using all of your senses to incorporate all these together in a synergistic way to aid manifestation in your life. And the incantation is saying affirmations, and saying I am abundant, I am prosperous, I am healthy, I am wealthy, all of these things. And then the other parts of these are writing, like journaling. So you sit there, you could say what you're grateful for. That's one of my favorite things, is having a gratitude journal, because you're reminding yourself of how awesome your life really is. So you start feeling this peace with where you are right now, and it brings you into that frequency of gratitude, and that's where you start attracting more things towards you that you can also be grateful for.
Awesome. I love that. So is that one of your favorite tools you said you use? Writing gratitude, or you have another one?
So one of my favorites is, I seem to have this knack for either drawing things or creating things graphically, digitally, that somehow affect the course of my life, and it's happened over and over again. So I don't think it's an accident.
So it sounds like you are really in when you're creating, you creative person, and when you're doing it, you're really in that moment and
Mhm.
you're embodying it at the same time what you're doing. So what would you say is your favorite? Do you draw, paint? What do you do?
Well, I haven't been paint. I love painting, but I haven't been painting recently. Um, One of the things that I've kind of done, immersing myself in a lot more, is graphic design, generative AI. I'm having a blast with generative AI, like just creating my graphics from you can type in a description of the image that you want, and then it'll create the graphic for you, and then you can take that and use it, and you can put it into a program like Photoshop and kind of enhance it with the way you want it to look. So that's a really cool like alternative to if you like doing vision boards. This is more of a in my mind, it feels like more of a creative process, even though the AI is assisting with that. So some people kind of get rubbed the wrong way when you talk about AI imagery, but I think it's great to incorporate that into your creative process.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we both are creative because I personally love creation too, and I used to paint and things like that. But recently I've also been going to Canva and using the AI tools. And you know what? Some people might look at it negative, but you know what? I look at it as a, hey, what else can we create? Like it
Exactly.
sparks that new thing because sometimes you need some new inspiration or something will pop out. It's like, oh my God, I've never thought about that. And then you go even further and further. So, you know, I feel like there's different ways of looking at it. And I personally love looking at it as a, hey, how much more can I expand here? What else can I draw from this abundance of that the universe is giving us? So I look at it from that angle. I think just like you, and then see what else we can make, After all, there's so much out there, like we haven't even explored, right? So I
Right.
love that aspect too. Now I'm not gonna give away your story from the chapter because we want our listeners to go and, buy the book or at least get a Kindle version. But you talk about this lost diamond ring and you talk about the story. But my question is, what, so there's aspects of it about subconscious programming you talk about.
Yes.
What
Yes.
steps can people take to reprogram their subconscious for a positive outcome in uh, whatever they're dealing with?
That's a great question, and I'm still learning the answer myself.
We
uh,
learn all our lives, but
yes, yes. But I think that one of the main shifts for me was realizing how negatively I talked to myself, like inside my own head. And it's like I would forgive others for a mistake, but if I made that same mistake, I would just never forgive myself, right? so, so I went from that to being able to forgive myself, being able to talk to myself like I would to my own child. So I'm a lot more caring and more friendly with myself. So I've went from my own worst critic to my own best cheerleader, as my mentor Eric Laughlin would say.
yeah, and you have to do that, and I kind of know where you're coming from because I used to do that too. I was my own worst critic, or things would happen, and I would just beat myself over it.
Yes,
So I
yes.
totally get that part, and I think, I mean, everybody comes from different backgrounds, and there's always room for improvement. And I personally haven't, there's times I've been talking to myself bad, criticizing myself, not loving myself the way. So I totally get it. So I had to turn that around as well and then start being good to myself too, because the more you're good to yourself, you're better to others too. So it's like a, circle, the ripple effect, right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that's very important, when I was growing up, I used to, people would say things to me, and sometimes I would take it in so deeply, and I would stay with him, even though they were not true. But somehow I didn't know any better at that time, and it would stick in my mind, and it would play over and over on autopilot, and years will go by. I'm like, oh, that's where this is coming from, because when something used to trigger me, now it's like, oh, that's what that was, or things like that. So I totally get it. And you definitely have to pay attention to what you're saying to yourself and also to others and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And what a real eye opener was for me when somebody said, if somebody can't, or if you can't learn to like, love, and respect yourself, then how do you expect others to? And that was just like a mind blown moment where I'm just like, well, no wonder,
yeah,
no wonder I'm having difficulty connecting with people.
yeah. And then yeah, sometimes things happen, they kind of open our eyes and it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. And
Yeah.
you think it's either the other person or something else, but a lot of times it's stuff from within that we take on that's not even ours, or if
Right.
it is ours, or like, damn, where did that come from? And why was it there for so long? So yeah, cleanup, unnecessary cleanup. I call it
Yes.
spring cleaning sometimes, because
Yes. Clean up the garbage in your own mind.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Hey, that should be the next book title.
There you go. I love
Oh,
it.
in your chapter, you talk about the importance of visualization as well. Can you share with us some tips, tools, and things like that that our listeners can dive into?
Sure. One of the things that I really love is guided meditations because it's awesome if you have the discipline to sit there and meditate and go through your own mind of like what a really good exercise is you can just sit there and think, what would the perfect day look like for me? And then you can just imagine yourself getting up. What does that look like? Where are you? What are your surroundings? What are you doing? That kind of thing. But guided meditation is kind of a shortcut for people that don't have that discipline to like do this on their own. And it, you can find stuff on YouTube where you can say, hey, I want a guided meditation to help me feel inner peace or whatever. It's easy to find these resources. Another thing that I really like that goes in hand with that is listening to things that raise your frequency, like your brain waves, like binaural beats and things like that. So having these two things in conjunction work really well for me. It could work for you too.
Yeah, and you do talk about that in the chapter a little bit more in depth, so I encourage people to look into it as well. And I know where you're coming from with meditation, because I've done a good share of meditations years ago, and then throughout, here and there. And then I went through a phase where whatever meditation I would listen to, I would fall asleep. I don't know. It's just I just fall asleep. I'm like, that's not working for me. And then
It's
recent,
okay. It's okay if you fall asleep because you're trying to get it inside of your subconscious anyways.
yeah.
So in my mind, it's all right. I actually listen to guided meditations while I'm falling asleep, and then it kind of just sets me at that higher frequency for the rest of the night, in my opinion. But
Yeah, which is good too. I
results may
just,
vary, obviously.
yeah, exactly. And that's why I kind of felt like I was like, okay, I don't think I'm getting anywhere with this, but
Hmm.
from that point of view, but it obviously does go in. But it's funny because when I started listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza recently in his meditations, oh man, he walks you through. I don't fall asleep there. I actually listen to him, and it's funny because it took me to the next level of meditation, which I never really experienced with any other of the meditation videos I've listened to. So it's really nice to see a different technique. And sometimes, yeah, when things don't maybe work out the way we want them to, or like depends what you're working on, to be honest with you, then sometimes you do want that. oh yeah, I did it, and I lasted till the end, and you could feel different vibration, the way you're feeling. It ignites something new, maybe you've never felt before. And I've had that a few times with Dr. Joe's meditations. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
whew,
he's
that
great.
was deep. I've had different ones from years ago when Dr. Doreen Virtue used to do meditations. Some of hers were really powerful as well. So yeah, it takes you through. It's like just when you think there's one type, and there's different ones out there as well. So it's worth checking out. Do you have a free course, or I think you have a course you offer for free? Could you tell us please more about that?
Yes, that's a great segue because I offer a 30-minute guided meditation in there, as well as a 5-minute body tune-up that kind of goes through different frequencies to serve different purposes. Like one is for your mind, and one is for your body, and one is for your relaxation. So it's just kind of it all fits together. It also provides you with the Power of Manifestation masterclass that uh, pairs perfectly with this chapter. In fact, if you wanted to not have to read the chapter, then you can go straight to the course. So it's similar information.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'll definitely check it out as well. And why did you decide to offer this kind of resource to people out there? What inspired you?
Linda Sunshine West, she kind of just threw the idea out there, and I was like, okay, I would love to. I would love to open up this aspect of me because that's one of the things that I really haven't. Um, it's not a part of my business. It's not a part of my, my what I usually do with clients, but it is a part of me, and it's something that has made a huge impact in my life. So I figured I would share this with other people to see if they get the same results that I do.
Wow. I love that we have all these amazing tools to look into. So we will share in this video, of course, a link to get the powerful manifestation video from Latara here. So check out this video after for more information, and of course, links to the book and to follow Latara, of course.
Oh, and the one more little bonus I have in my free course is I'm also offering a digital kind of like a um, oracle deck, if you will, where you can go in and randomly pick a card for the day that kind of reveals what you should be focusing on that day. So but it's digital. You don't need an actual deck of cards in your hand.
Oh,
So
that's really cool. I haven't seen that around. Usually you have the physical cards. That's really neat. Wow, look at that. Technology at its best. I love it. And that they can all find under the same link for the power of manifestation. Okay, cool.
correct.
So
Yep.
we'll share that with you guys, no worries. I want to jump into a little bit of the law of attraction. So being into existence, how do you ensure that your internal state aligns with your external actions? And why is this alignment so crucial for successful manifestation? Can we go into this a little bit?
Sure, sure. Yeah, and this goes in line with what I was saying before about using all of your senses, incorporating all of your senses in the manifestation process, because the more you can connect with it in different ways, the more you can have it integrated into your subconscious. So you have your visual, you have your auditory, you have your tactile, you have the speaking, you have the writing, you have the drawing. So there's all of these different things that are helping you usher in that manifested version of what you want instead of encountering the same thing over and over again, which is, we get stuck in this loop of, well, I'm in this environment of negativity, so negative things keep happening to me. So how do I get myself out of this loop? So this kind of helps you kind of unwind all of that stuckness. And so one of the things that I love doing is painting that facilitates the manifestation that I want.
Awesome. And also, I love the quote you have in the chapter. Can you please tell us why you use this quote? What does it mean to you? I'm not
Oh my
gonna
goodness, can you
quote,
please
I'll
remind
let you
me?
say.
What the quote is? Can you read the quote?
Be the change that you wish to see in the world. I love that quote as
Oh,
well.
yes, yes,
Yeah. What
yes.
inspired you to use this quote? Like, tell us a little bit more.
So, I've always loved this quote, and it's from Mahatma Gandhi. And while I was doing my research, I actually realized that the word manifestation is also um, indicative of like a protest. You know what I mean? Like people picketing in the streets. I'm like, wow, that's I didn't realize that that's also manifestation. So that was a really interesting connection. And when I'm thinking of that, I'm thinking of Mahatma Gandhi. You know, he started this revolution as the single person, uh, being an advocate of peace. He was doing it peacefully. There was no aggression, and so he was that he was the embodiment of be the change that you want to see in the world, because uh, we we're all creators. We're all co-creating the world together. So if you keep on seeing that the problems are out there, you have to accept some form of responsibility and saying, this can change with me. If I'm starting to be an advocate of what I want to see in the world, then you can create a revolution like Gandhi did.
Hmm. Wow, that's amazing. I love that quote. And it actually just reminded me, I actually visited his now I can't remember exactly, but I did visit a place where he used to sit and meditate in 2011. I visited one of his areas and I actually bought his stamps collection and things like that. So it's really exciting to talk about you taking his quote and me actually visiting his place too. So yeah, that just reminded me of that. I was like, oh yeah, I visited that place.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's funny how we circulate, in our lives, the stories eventually, and then go back to it. It's like, oh, wow. But yeah, it's really powerful quote. I like this one and Dr. Wayne Dyer's quote too. If you change the way you look at things, things change. So I think those are
Yep,
one of the
exactly.
probably two most powerful quotes
Yes, I
I've
agree.
come across in the last little bit, and at least they have deep meaning for me, and that one for you. So, yeah, everybody chooses the quotes that really resonate with them, or they carry them through life for a specific thing, or try to remind us of something. So it's amazing. So, tell us, what can we expect from you next? What's on the
Oh my goodness.
horizon? Are you writing more
Wow.
books? Are you?
So I'm going to be holding a vision board workshop in the near future. So keep an eye out for that. I can't give you any of the details just yet because I don't have it the plan solidified just yet, but I do have that calling to offer people a workshop where they can basically go through the stuff that I'm trying to teach in the chapter.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see when it's coming out. So follow Latara for that. And of course, I ask this everybody who's on my podcast. The name of the podcast is Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. So as you know, what does rising with intention mean for you? How do you set your day?
What One of the things that I love to do is, like I said, listen to my guided meditation going to sleep. So that's like my nighttime routine. My morning routine is meditate. You don't even have to do it for a long time, maybe 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be a long commitment, but just meditating clears all of the things that you're worrying about and you're stressing over. And one of the things that I've heard recently was worrying is worshiping the problems. So that's another one of those, wow, I can't believe I've been worrying all my life. I'm just giving power to the problem instead of the opposite, which is what why we worry is because we don't want it to happen, right? So
Yeah.
focusing on the problem is making the problem bigger and amplifying it. So that's another reason to just not go into the day carrying that with you. And gratitude journaling. I love gratitude journaling, and I love. I'm also a strong advocate of writing down your intentions for the week. So
The week.
what
Oh, I love
goals are you
that.
trying to accomplish this week? Because it's more likely to get done if you write it down.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like kind of like solidifying it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, thank you so much for great tips from you. And I'm so excited for your upcoming book. December 3rd is the launch date. So I'll watch our post. It's going to be all over. So I'm super excited for that and for all the
Yeah.
upcoming great things. And I'm probably going to have you on my podcast maybe next year again because we're
Well,
always doing.
I'll keep coming back as long as you'll have me.
Of course. I'd love to have you. So thank you so much for being with us today,
Thank
Latara.
you.
It's been a pleasure to have you once again. And thank you to our listeners for coming back. And if you missed Latara's other episodes, feel free to go back to on the previous episodes and listen. She's got so many amazing golden nuggets, stories to tell, and so much wonderful stuff. So thank you so much, everybody, for listening, and have a beautiful day, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.